Hey everyone, welcome to 996 A Howl for the uninitiated. This is an unedited YouTube vlog discussing everything Arizona Coyotes. Do you love one-goal games? Because for the past 4 years under Rick Tocchet, unbelievable. Like every game, it's almost every game, the Coyotes are involved in a one-goal game. And I mean a one-goal deciding game, not obviously like a 1-0 game. But this season in particular, 77% of their games have been one goal decided. I'm not counting empty nets, just counting, good goals, not empty netters. So they're always in games, whether they win or lose. It's frustrating that the Coyotes haven't had like a blowout win yet. I think they beat San Jose 5-3 and Vegas 5-2 with an empty netter, so that was about a 4-2 win. But you just want the barn to be burned one night, and over a quarter into the season, it still hasn't happened. And I doubt it will happen for a while. Their opponents for the next little while are kind of really good. 10 out of their next 15 games are against either the Avalanche or the Minnesota Wild. They play the Avalanche 5 times in March. So, yeah, Coyotes got to get back to playing better, which they did last night against the LA Kings, winning 3-2, but they only played hockey for 40 minutes. That last period was really bad. The patented Tocchet turtle came back in full bloom. They were outshot 18-4 in the third period. The Coyotes just had no offensive mojo whatsoever. It seemed like whenever they got the puck, their focus was to just gain the red line and dump it for a change. And when they did get a late power play with 3 minutes left in the game, it even seemed on that power play that the Coyotes were so scared and so timid to make an offensive play on the power play. They were just playing it way too safe. Garland taking a floater shot from the top of the circle that Quick didn't even have to make a dangerous save on. It just floated into his crest and smothered the puck for their only shot on that late power play. So yeah, I don't know. I've said this before in other videos. I'm not sure what happens between the second and third period. And in post-game comments, even Tocchet says he doesn't like how the team played in the third period. But if you're the coach telling them things in the intermission, like they're obviously not listening to you. So whatever you're saying isn't working. And if players aren't listening to you, I think that's a cause for concern. If it was the other way around where Tocchet tells them to protect the lead, and then in the post-game comments he wouldn't say he was frustrated with how they played the third. He'd say they played tight defensively and they wanted to protect the lead, and they did, and they got the W. So not sure what to think there. I always assume that Tocchet's telling them to protect the lead, but it's just way too uncomfortable the way the Coyotes protect the lead. I know on average teams will protect the lead if they have one going into the third period, but too much defending, a lot of uncomfortable butt clenching. The Kings, 18 shots in the third, ramping up to about 40 shots on Antti Raanta, who had an elite performance, and we haven't had an elite goalie performance in a really long time, probably since Game 7 against the Blues where Kemper won 1-0. Yes, Hill had a funny 12-save performance in relief of Kemper against Anaheim about 2 weeks ago. Maybe that was a week ago. Maybe. But yes, it's good to see Raanta get his confidence back. Hopefully with Kemper getting some rest, it's a minor injury, Raanta could get back to his form and really make a name for himself. He's a free agent this summer. If he wants big money, if he wants to get re-signed long-term by another team or by the Coyotes, he needs to pump up his numbers and have performances like he did last night, to secure a paycheck and to secure a future in the NHL, because his injury problems have put a blemish on his resume. Other good news, the power play was really good and it won him the game. Every time I harp on a power play, on their power play, these are the types of games I'm talking about where you probably don't deserve to win because of that third period, but your power play comes through. You get 2 power play goals by Keller and Schmaltz. That Schmaltz Coyote set play that they have where the D-man plays it to the opposite side of Schmaltz and they pass it around and waiting until the attackers, become a magnet to the defensive guy, whoever it is. Chikrin most likely is often the case. So once the forwards of the opposition get drawn to the defenseman will pass a puck to Schmaltz, who's on the boards, and just walks in and snipes it blocker side. We saw that a lot last season. This season, not too many times. I think maybe one other time it happened. But I love that little drag he does and a nice wrist shot, top cheese. He saw his friend and a former line mate Clayton Keller get a goal, so he wasn't going to be outdone. So I like the competition between Schmaltz and Keller. The other goal, Johan Larsson, great to see him get another goal. That's 2 goals in back-to-back games. Really good for Johan Larsson. Maybe he saw my video I made on Tuesday. Other than that, not too many positive take out of this. They played a good 40 minutes. I liked the way they threw their body. You saw that with Pitlick throwing his body, Labushkin with a huge hit, Krause and Fischer were getting on the body. They were playing fast and intimidating for 40 minutes, and they just got to find a way to do that for the full 60 and night in and night out. And I know that's a tiring way to play hockey. You tire yourself out. If you have a lot of games and a lot of nights, it's going to be hard to replicate that 40-minute performance for 60 minutes in consecutive games when you're playing a lot of games and not a lot of nights. So they got to realize that's how they play. They got to intimidate the other team. Throw your body on their defensemen, on the boards, whenever you get a chance, in open ice, clean hits. Just be intimidating, be hard to play against. That forces the other team to make mistakes. That Johan Larsson goal, the defenseman there probably was getting hit a lot in the game and was feeling the pressure of the Coyotes' offensive pressure and coughed up the puck without really paying attention and making the right play due to just getting hit in the first period. And it went right to Johan Larsson and he pocketed in the goal. So they got to realize that's how they should play. That is the Coyotes brand that Bill Armstrong wanted to create and Rick Tocchet likes to promote all the time. So they got a back-to-back against Minnesota, 2 huge games. They're at home until they go on a 7-game road trip, which seems brutal because most of the games are against Colorado and Minnesota. They're chasing Minnesota in the standings. Minnesota is the best 5-on-5 team in the league, but the worst power play team in the league. Worse than the Detroit Red Wings. Don't even know how that's possible, to be honest. So 5-on-5, the Coyotes need to tighten up. Play in the offensive zone, Minnesota's defensive zone, their offensive zone, and limit. Well, actually, they could take a lot of penalties. I don't even think that's a recipe for success. Knowing the Coyotes, Minnesota will probably get power play goals in these back-to-backs. So Coyotes need to be wary. 5-on-5. That's when the Minnesota Wild are only dangerous is 5-on-5, which is a bulk of the game. So it's not a bad problem to have. It's actually a good problem to have, that you're most dangerous during the most times of the game. So Coyotes, it's huge. It's a huge 2 games. They lose both games in regulation. That is a huge hole, and they will definitely not catch the Minnesota Wild for the rest of the season. So this is it. Be competitive. Be on the same page as Minnesota. I would like to see the Coyotes push the pace and make the Minnesota Wild play to their game. And if I see some positive trends, I want to see a 60 minutes. I want to see them be intimidating. This 40 minutes of LA was beautiful. You have to replicate that performance. You can't turtle. You can't get away from your game in the third period because any other team besides LA will punish you. And the LA Kings probably would have tied it if it wasn't for Ranta. So they can't always rely on elite goaltending. They got to realize their mistakes. They haven't put together a full 60 minutes in a really long time. And it's a bad trend. A lot of their offensive numbers, their goal scoring, their shot attempts are down in the dumps. They got a lot of problems to fix. And it starts with a win against LA, and it continues with good performances against a good team in the Minnesota Wild. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.